Дуже дякую вам за ту величезну і надзвичайно важливу службу, яку ви тут несете, захищаючи мир, спокій, захищаючи нашу рідну землю від російського агресора. Я думаю, що сьогодні, коли з нами знаходяться наші американські друзі і партнери, сенатори Сполучених Штатів Америки, вони на власні очі можуть переконатися, що означає українська морська піхота, яка сьогодні в Широкіно, Бердянському, Водяному захищає мир та спокій українських громадян. І сьогодні, напереддень Нового року, коли через декілька годин мирна Україна, мирний український народ буде святкувати Новий рік, саме від вас залежить мир та спокій нашого народу і нашої держави. І я, як президент, і як верховний головнокомандувач, хочу подякувати кожного з вас.
I admire the fact that you will fight for your homeland.
Я захоплююсь тим, що ви боретеся за свою батьківщину.
Your fight is our fight.
Ваша боротьба – це наша боротьба.
2017 will be the year of offense.
Рік 2017 рік буде ріком нападу.
All of us will go back to Washington and we will push the case against Russia.
Ми всі повернемося до Вашингтону і ми будемо відстоювати санкції проти Росії.
Enough of a Russian aggression.
Досить вже російської агресії.
It is time for them to pay a heavier price.
Час вже, щоб вони заплатили важчу ціну.
Our fight is not with the Russian people, but with Putin.
Ми боремося не з російським народом, але з Путіним.
Our promise to you is to take your cause to Washington.
Наша обіцянка – це те, що ми вашу боротьбу доведемо до Вашингтона.
Inform the American people of your bravery.
Проінформуємо американський народ про вашу відважність.
And make the case against Putin to the world.
І покажемо про докази проти Путіна усьому світу.
I believe you will win. I am convinced you will win, and we will do everything we can to provide you with what you need to win.
Я вірю в те, що ви виграєте, переможете. Я переконаний в тому, що ви переможете, і ми вам допоможемо всіма можливими засобами.
And we have succeeded not because of equipment, but because of your courage.
Ви успішні не через обладнання, але через вашу відважність.
So I thank you, and the world is watching. And the world is watching because we cannot allow Vladimir Putin to succeed here. Because if he succeeds here, he will succeed in other countries.
Я вам дуже дякую. І весь світ за цим слідкує. І весь світ за цим слідкує, тому що ми не можемо дозволити Володимиру Путіну тут перемогти. Адже якщо він тут переможе, він зможе це зробити і в інших країнах.
Це те ж саме гільзи з ворожих БМП, які розмальовані художництвом Бердянська.
З Новим роком, дорогі мої! Все буде добре!
I've been getting into it on Twitter this morning with people over this, is that people are saying this is just free speech, you're being a snowflake, you're so sensitive. First of all, you're talking about sitting senators, and you're talking about Congress people, Maxine Waters, Mitt Romney, Adam Schiff, Bernie Sanders, President Obama, the Clintons, my father, you can't kill him again, but whatever, Rachel Maddow, Black Lives Matter, these are real people. And so I always thought that if you, in the same way that if you make a threat against someone in office, I don't understand how this video is any different. Sarah Sanders, Don Jr., and the governor of Florida, by the way, Ron DeSantis, was at this event. I don't understand where we are culturally, where entertainment is showing doctored videos of killing fellow members of Congress and people you're working with every day. And anyone who wants to talk to me about free speech, I think as all of you know, I mean, I wanted to come on here and talk about the Joker a few weeks ago, but we never got to it. I am not someone who thinks that we can't have content in entertainment and writing and that talking about violence is important, but this is an entirely different thing when you're using pictures of actual people who are still alive. And how easy for all of you judging me that I'm offended and upset by the video. You try doing this when a member of your family is continued to have this happen over and over and over again. And it doesn't seem to matter to anybody in Trump world whatsoever. And you conservatives on Twitter, if this were the opposite and it happened in an Obama event, you'd be screaming bloody murder.
Oh, but wait a minute. Hold on. It had.
Welcome back, friends. And this evening, so our plan tonight, Joe, is number one, you dropped a new Substack today that we're going to go over and take a look at, because it actually happened while we were on the air last night on Eye of the Storm. Something fairly relevant happened, and that was former YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki, whatever her last name is, passed away. And it was, I know people die and people get cancer and things happen, but this is the second person that Q is directly called out in the drops to have died in the past couple of weeks, Sheila Jackson Lee being the first. So we're going to take a look at your Substack here, man, and you can kind of guide us through it, because that's kind of a lot of what it deals with. So go ahead and take it away, my friend.
Yeah. So Q mentions, like Az was saying, by name, Susan Wojcicki. Okay, and we're just gonna show those cues here in this graphic. So you can pan down and maybe open that first image up fully here.
Let's do it.
Boom. Okay, so Q2061. At least 7 senior Facebook executives have announced their departures this year. Nothing to see here. DARPA Q. Sergey Brin, Google founder, born in Moscow, was married to Anne Wojcicki. Okay, so we're talking about Susan tonight. Susan is the YouTube person. I believe it's her sister is the 23andMe founder. Okay, brother-in-law. So yep. So that's how that went down. DARPA there. Q2062. Same top part. It's got the embedded 2061, but it's talking about mass surveillance, and it says read between the lines. Okay, so basically what Q is pointing to here is everything that they're doing with Google, with 23andMe and YouTube. All these things are tracking you and finding out information and controlling you. And then this graphic over here on the right is pointing out the people in play. So Sergey was the Alphabet or Google co-founder, and Anne is the co-founder of 23andMe, and then Susan, CEO of YouTube over there. Okay, so Q is pointing these people out for a reason. Okay, so what I went back to is Absolute mentioned Sheila Jackson Lee and Susan Wojcicki both had this cancer situation the past couple of weeks, but it really started with John No Name McCain, because he also came off the chessboard with a cancer. But Q showed us the whole roadmap of what really happened with John No Name McCain, and Q actually even says, it was all a health cover, that we were taking him off the board. And I'll tell you how we're gonna give you 30 days to the day to the minute notice. All right, so that's what I covered here in this first little 2-minute video, is just kind of showing the connections with that whole game plan, McCain, Sheila, and Susan. So let's go ahead and give that a play. Susan Wojcicki passes away at the age of 56. The former YouTube CEO and Silicon Valley trailblazer Susan Wojcicki has died at the age of 56, and from small cell lung cancer. Okay. So what's to see here? Well, she was mentioned in the Q drops. 2061. 2062. Follow the path of the family. Read between the lines. Been some Google news lately too. So this dates back to how John McCain checked out. Okay. So John McCain also checked out from cancer back in August of 2018. And what else did we have recently in the news? Sheila Jackson Lee also checked out in July 24, cancer. So why am I pointing out all these cancers? Well, Q had told us back in the day specifically about McCain that it's a health cover. Q also states in 1851, we, the people, are the cure. Q comes back, these people deserve, these people are sick, we are the cure. Patriots in control, the world will know the truth. Okay, so Q gave us a 30-day heads up on the passing of McCain, to the day, to the minute, to the second. So I'm going to lay out the pathway and show the connections with McCain, Sheila Jackson Lee, and then that makes the Susan Wojcicki that much more easy to understand. So I personally believe 3 players off the board, cancer, Q team. So
I love that, man. Such a good connection there, dude.
So this one was just a video I did freehand back in 2018, and you can look for it on Eye of the Storm. We covered it a couple different times and did even a deeper dive into Every Dog Has Its Day. But this one was kind of a 7-minute overview of the QComs, the foreknowledge that Q gave us a heads up, and then it goes right through and shows the checkout with John McCain. So we can give that a play. It's about 7 minutes.
Let's do it.
So a lot of you weren't following Q back in 2018, and I was talking with Pepe Lives Matter out of We the Media, and we wanted to kind of reset the exit of John McCain, no name as Q refers to him as, because it really, really was a watershed moment in time where that hit me like a ton of bricks and said, holy cow, we are in total and full control on the largest scale imaginable, and even then some. So I'm going to roll through it. I had done this video back in 2018, but I just wanted to kind of pull it back up and reset it and put a new shine on it. So we're going to go through the Q posts, what happened, and how Q confirmed it. So he gave 3 particular cues of foreknowledge of the event. Then we'll go through the news, and then we'll show how the decodes were confirmed by Q as being accurate. Okay, so let's start with the first foreknowledge cues. So back in February 27, 2018, Q 1260, he puts done in 30, and he puts 30 in brackets, sometimes known as a kill box. Okay. Then we move over to Q 1649, and that was June 30th, 2018. And the keywords here was, there was a talking about that he wasn't happy about No Name McCain and his actions and how he was a disgrace in Vietnam. And a lot of Anons were just unhappy with McCain. And Q had replied, no name action. Every dog has his day. Enjoy the show. And this is really where it all comes together. Q 1706, dated July 25th, 2018. Timestamp's important. 1928, military time. And he's got his hands up. And Q is saying, returning to the headlines. So what happens? Well, John McCain, quote unquote, passes away. When? On July 25th, 2018.
August 25th.
What time? 4:28 p.m. local time. So what does that mean? Let's take a look back. He died in Arizona, and Arizona doesn't do daylight savings time. So some points of the year, they're 3 hours difference. So military time here is 7:28 p.m. But in Arizona time, that would be 4:28 p.m. Does John McCain have his hands up in this picture as he's surrendering? Check the date. Q wrote it 7/25/2018. Done in 30. Exactly 30 days later, John McCain, quote unquote, passes away. So right here in this one picture, we have Q posting the surrender hands 30 days in advance and the time. 30 days later, quote unquote, passes away, and the timestamp converted to Eastern time zone, military time. How else did Q refer to John McCain? Remember? No name McCain, every dog has his day. So he passed away, as I just showed you, August 25th. And as the news was hitting that evening cycle, what did we wake up to the very next day? The very next day, August 26th, 2018, you guessed it, was National Dog Day. So Q gave us in advance the day, 30 days in advance, the time, 4:28 p.m. military time. Every dog has his day. And this is where it all comes together here. So just what I went through. So to refresh, Q back in April 2018, done in 30, 30 in the kill box. McCain, timestamped 1928, surrender hands. Q, about McCain specifically, every dog has his day. McCain passes away. Exactly 30 days later, exactly at 4:28 p.m., the night before National Dog Day. This is Q confirming. Hands up, done in 30 kill box. The 28-minute mark. Is it impossible? Coincidence? No, we are in full control. And he not only confirms it in Q 1933, but Q also predicted in Q 2305, another person passing away, John Barlow. You can read up on that, but I just cut to the bottom here where he's confirming again about No Name. Coincidence? No Name, exactly 30. In the end, you will be shocked to learn what you essentially witnessed. Q. So what is Q saying? Q is saying we have full and total control of major players coming and going. If you can exit a sitting U.S. senator and predict it 30 days in advance to the day, to the minute, I can't think of much more than that than being in full control. And that back in 2018 was a big part of why I've taken the stance is that the picture is much, much bigger than we think, and we're in much, much more control than we can imagine. And this was a big part of it. Stormy, out.
Love that, man. Love that. That's one of the, that deserves a proper boom. I got to do a proper boom.
I'll be damned.
I'll be damned. You're muted, my friend.
So that kind of gives you the background, the foundation. Okay. So Q didn't go into quite that much detail with the other players, but Q's not going to give you it every single time, but there's parallels that you can make. And I was just having a little fun with the graphic, because what I personally think when Q says shocked in quotations, the punishment for these people might be the electric chair. Okay. And it's not just that Q said shocked in quotations. In today's day, what is Donald Trump saying at his rallies? He's saying this weird comment about, what would you rather? Would you rather be attacked by a bunch of sharks, or would you rather be electrocuted? Ha 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 ha. Like, nobody knows what the hell he's talking about, except maybe this. I personally think he's trolling, and he's telling us this particular cue. You'll be shocked to learn what you essentially witnessed. And I didn't include in this Substack, but also, remember the slip ups of, people saying, oh, he was executed. John McCain was executed, and his daughter said, well, Trump can't kill him twice. Those types of things. Kasich was the guy out of Ohio who made the quote unquote slip up of saying, well, Trump executed McCain. So pretty weird if you add it all up. Q saying shocked, Trump with this weird story about, talking about people being electrocuted versus eaten by sharks. I don't know. And then, his daughter saying Trump executed him. And Kasich had said in an interview, like on CNN, that instead of John McCain's passing, it was like John McCain's execution. And the CNN guy didn't even correct them. They just kind of rode right past it. Like, whoa, what was that?
For my headcanon, I like to think that maybe sometimes these folks go to Gitmo and they don't get the chair, they don't get lethal injection, they don't get a hanging or even a firing squad. They get tossed into those warm waters off the beach of Guantanamo Bay and fed to sharks. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe they get the option. Who knows?
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule anything out. And my mind goes into some very, very big rabbit holes about it, but we only can project what we think. All right. So just to restate here, the RNC wraps up with Nasum Dorma. That was a song from the movie Sum of All Fears, in which that is the crescendo of the movie, and it's when the deep state is getting wiped out. And the very next day, we wake up to the news that Sheila Jackson Lee passed away from quote unquote cancer. Okay. So, and we also learned after that that she had oversight into the Secret Service. And this is a clip from Eye of the Storm, and Absolute and I are kind of resetting a few of those things. So, you could play it or jump in with anything or play it, and then we could chat after. But
no, let's go ahead and take a look and chat after.
In a little bit from that same rally there, he put it on Truth Social. He put it up on Twitter. This little short, it was 30 seconds of a video from the rally. Yeah, like Ab said, only 7,000 per the media, closer to 100,000. But let's play it. There was an interesting song attached to it.
Yeah, there most certainly was. Sorry, man, was pulling something up in the background. Here we go, my friends. Check this out. This song, as Joe said, should seem familiar to you guys.
So, Abs, what's the name of the song? You have it better than I do, but I know it's the kind of crescendo at the end at some of All Fears. What's the name of it again?
The name of the song is Nasum Dorma, and it plays at the end of Sum of All Fears. And instead of taking the next 5 minutes to explain to you why that's so relevant if you've never seen the movie, here's the next 2 minutes instead showing you why that's so relevant if you've never seen the movie. That guy's a cabal creep. Oh, that sounds kind of familiar. Again, cabal creep. Oh. Oh, that's going to hurt in the morning. Here we have the Russian and American president after not getting duped into going to World War by these cabal snakes. This is another cabal snake running through the woods, by the way. Oh, yeah, snow's hard to run in, fella. So I believe the point has been made that when that song plays in the movie, it's when all the cabal creeps that tried to push Russia and the United States into World War III so they could low-key take over the world, it's when all those guys are being taken out through clandestine, secret, special operations missions. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, so Q mentions it a few different times. I put up one of those times here, Q 936, and, just some things that are going on. North Korea. Donald Trump, hostage, threat, disarm, stage is set, freedom Q. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. But very, very interesting. And I know Trump had mentioned that he said something like he was friends with Pavarotti the other day at one of these rallies, and Pavarotti sings that song as well. So just a few wink and nods towards Some of All Fears, and there it was.
Definitely. Pavarotti actually sings the version that's in the movie. So that's pretty relevant that Trump mentioned Pavarotti by name. So, and it's also kind of crazy that we literally just went over the Sum of All Fears stuff, like kind of a deep dive in it in the review 3 or 4 weeks back. I think it was right before GART. We went into that one. So the timing swinging back around as always, man.
So that was the show back in May. And, we're gonna go into it a little further, but just to reset, this is how the RNC closed up. Let's play that one.
Felt at the end like one of his campaign rally speeches, but at the beginning started in a very different way, a very reflective way, a very somber way. And now they're going to opera, which is one of former President Trump's favorites, as you listen into the singer there.
Dorma, one of Trump's favorite songs. A lot of people talking about how much he loves music, and we've heard a lot.
So one thing to remember that when we move forward here on the show is how Az was pointing out back in May about that they were headed towards World War III when all this went down. So we're gonna weave that in. We got some other things to weave in, but this was just kind of funny. He's Charles Payne there on Fox seems to be got his little ear to the keyboard a little bit. So listen to what Charles Payne had to say.
It's a nice color top she's wearing too. It's cool.
Yep.
And let me jump in before I let you go, because there's an interesting theory out there that Trump picked the last song, right, Nessun Dorma, to send a message to deep state actors, in part because it was at the end of the movie, Some of Our All Fears, and we know that movie was about getting rid of terrorists and deep state actors. You're part of the communications teams. Have you guys thought it through that much?
I can neither confirm nor deny it's classified. No, I'm just kidding. You did hear, though, from First Lady Melania Trump earlier in the week. She mentioned her husband is a lover of music. How beautiful. The drama of opera is so beautiful. But I'll leave you with this. President Trump did say last night, for far too long, the American people have expected and accepted far too little from their own government. We know part of his message is to drain the swamp and return government to being of for and by the people. And how poetic and operatic is that?
Yeah, and of course, deep state actors beware. Caroline, thank you very much. Talk to you again.
Deep state actors beware indeed. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, so I'm just kind of writing down some calendar event dates so I can roll through this properly. So on the 13th was the event with the shooting attempt on Trump. What we just played there was him closing down the show at the RNC on the 18th. okay, with that song. And then the next morning, we wake up to the news on the 19th of Sheila Jackson Lee has passed away from cancer. So, Abs, what do you have to kind of further connect why we're weaving this into the story tonight?
Well, first, we're going to start off with a short 14-second video from former Secret Service kind of director Kimberly Cheadle. Let's have a listen to this.
I would be remiss if I did not also extend my condolences on the passing of your colleague, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Miss Jackson Lee was always engaged in the oversight of the Secret Service, and her passing is a great loss to this body.
I'm sorry, she was engaged in the oversight of the Secret Service? Did you know that until Cheadle said that, Joe?
I did not. I knew other things. You have the one with her ring as well, too?
Oh, you know I do, man. You know I do. First, before I get to that, let's pull up Q drop number 1572. This was, oh my God, my eyes are terrible. Sorry, friends. June 20th, 2018. And an Anon posts a picture of her and says, have a peek at her ring, just sick. And Q says, part of the club. And if you can't get a good enough picture of the ring right there, have a look right here. You can see the ring is clearly the exact same as the FBI predefined logo for a symbol of pedophilia, specifically being a boy lover. So to tie the pieces together, you mean to tell me there was an attempt on Trump, Sheila Jackson Lee was involved in U.S. Secret Service oversight, Sheila Jackson Lee dies after Nessun Dorma is played. Okay.
And the Secret Service director chimes in afterwards and ties all those things together further for us. Thank you.
That's just one of the most fantastic coincidences I've ever seen. I'll be interested to see if she gets one of them state funeral deals, how the flag on her coffin looks.
And to further tie it, I'm just thinking it through, and I think
spoiler alert, it was wrinkled.
We talked about it on the Alpha show. Was this isn't the first go around where somebody might have got taken to the chambers, if you will, that under the cover of cancer. So No Name McCain was one of the other examples that Q pointed out. 30 days in advance to the minute, Q team gave us that McCain would check out, and that happened. And Q said, people, coming off the board due to health reasons aren't always health reasons. So keep that in mind when you read the story that she passed away with cancer.
Yeah. Interesting. You're muted, brother.
I was just saying, yeah, kind of a little bit of foreshadowing. So that was recorded before Wojcicki checks out, but same pattern. Okay, so back then I was connecting McCain's pattern of being checked out with Sheila Jackson Lee's pattern of being checked out, and now we have Susan on top of that. But this is just the cue that Abs was going through there, and that's her ring that she's wearing. So when Q says part of the club, means this pedophilia club, this elite club that we've been talking about for years, that everybody told us we were crazy, and lo and behold, we find out all these things about Epstein Island, and it's all real. So no coincidence that she happens to have the symbol there embedded in diamonds, no less, right there that matches it up. So so what I was saying, to sum it up, I believe the Q team took all three of these players off the board. Q gave us the playbook with McCain's exit. Q even gave us exactly 30 days to the minute with McCain's exit. Q named all three players and also said, watch for health cover. We are the cure. Okay. So on this graphic, health cover, we are the cure. And this Q is talking about some more pedophilia type of stuff there with what Q has got circled with Kid Love Productions. And over on the right, these people basically deserve the noose. These people are sick. We are the cure. Patriots in control. The world will know the truth. Q. So if you just take that McCain playbook and play it 3 times, you'll get to the same type of pattern here, in my belief. All right. So let's see what I got. Oh, just a little fun here at the end where I say bye, bye, bye in a little 15-second video.
Nessun dorma, nessun dorma. Tu pure, o principessa,